Hello everyone, and welcome back to Storytime with Mr. Jerome, where we tell stories that matter. This Friday, we'll be reading once again from the Jesus Storybook Bible. Parents, don't forget, there will be a link in the description if you want to purchase a copy for yourselves. We're going to be reading a story titled, A Little Servant Girl and the Proud General. We're leaving behind the stories of David, and we're moving on a little bit forward in history. We're moving to a brand new story and some brand new characters. So pay attention and let's find out what the little girl, who was a servant, had to say to the proud general.
A Little Servant Girl and the Proud General. Naaman was a very important man in a very important army of a very important country. So you see, he was very, very, very important. But Naaman was sick. He had leprosy, which is a nasty thing that stops you from feeling anything. Bits of you fall off without you noticing, like bashed fingers and squished toes. It might sound funny, but it wasn't, and Naaman certainly wasn't laughing. There was no cure, it never went away, and in the end, it killed you. Naaman needed help. Now, there was a little slave girl who worked for Naaman, and she knew someone who could help him. But there was a problem. Naaman was her enemy. Not long before, Naaman had led an army raid on her home in Israel. He had killed her whole family, carried her off to Syria, and made her into his slave. Every night she cried herself to sleep. She had lost everything. Why would she, of all people, want to help Naaman? Didn't she hate him and want to hurt him back? Didn't she want to make him pay for the wrong he'd done? That's what you would expect, but instead of hating him, she loved him. Instead of hurting him back, she forgave him. I want Naaman to get well, she said to her mistress. There's a man in Israel called Elisha who can heal him. I'll go, said Naaman, loading up his wagons and putting on his flashing armor. But I'll go to the palace because that's where someone important like me gets healed. So he hurried off to Israel and went straight to the king. My healing, please, he announced. I can do lots of things, the king replied, but only God can heal. Just then, a message from Elisha arrived. Send Naaman here, it read. So Naaman hurried off to Elisha's house, but Elisha didn't even come out and greet him. He just sent a servant instead. Doesn't Elisha realize who I am, Naaman thought? But what the servant said next made him even crosser. Wash in there, he said. Just wash, Naaman laughed, in that slimy, stinky river? He looked around to see if this was some kind of joke. It wasn't. Any person can wash in a river, he thought. I am Naaman. I am important. I should do something important so God will heal me. And he rode off in a rage. Of course, you and I both know that's not how God does things. All Naaman needed was nothing. It was the one thing Naaman didn't have. God knew that Naaman was even sicker on the inside than he was on the outside. Naaman was proud. He thought he didn't need God. His heart didn't work properly. It couldn't feel anything. You see, Naaman had leprosy of his heart. God was not only going to heal Naaman's skin, he was going to heal his pride. Naaman finally agreed to wash in the river, and instantly his skin became smooth like a baby. Naaman wanted to pay Elisha. God healed you. You can't pay, Elisha said. It's free. And so it was that a very sick man was healed, all because of a little servant girl who forgave him. God knew sin was like leprosy. It stopped his children's hearts from working properly, and in the end it would kill them. Years later, God was going to send another servant to forgive as she did, to forgive all of God's children and heal the terrible sickness in their hearts. Their hearts were broken, but God can mend broken hearts.
What an amazing story. First, that little girl forgave Naaman. That was good. It's always good to forgive people when they do bad things to you. And secondly, God, using the power that he has, healed Naaman from his leprosy. I know when I'm sick, I wish I could be healed, but I've never been so sick as to have leprosy, and yet God was able to heal Naaman because he believed. If you ever find yourself sick or sad or worried, ask God to help you. And just like Naaman, who asked God to help him and finally believed and dipped himself in the river, was healed, when you ask God to help you, he will. Maybe you don't need to be cured of leprosy, but whatever it is you're dealing with, you can ask God to help you. And he will. Now, it's time for our Learning Minute.
It told Naaman to bathe in the river Jordan. but he didn't want to because he thought the river was nasty and gross. Not all rivers are like that. There are plenty of rivers that are clean and pure and beautiful, but some rivers, like the Jordan River at the time, are dirty. You might not want to swim in some of these rivers. When we say that a river is dirty, a lot of times that's because people throw their trash in it. We know that trash should always be thrown away in the trash can, but sometimes people don't throw their trash where it's supposed to go. And when they throw their trash in the rivers or anywhere out in nature, the beautiful things outside become a little less beautiful. Here's something for you to discuss with your parents. Why is it important to keep things in nature clean?
I hope you enjoyed that learning minute, and I hope you enjoyed today's reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in again this Monday at 7 p.m. for another story that matters. Until then, have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and goodbye.